Good morning, everyone. So, why did I choose a Tesla Model 3 as opposed to a Chevy Bolt? This question's been asked of me on a number of occasions, both by personal friends of mine and subscribers to my channel in the comments section. And I think the main reason that I've been asked this is that I've been very open about the fact that I use this car for business. I have boxes that I need to carry periodically, and occasionally special steel racks and that kind of thing. And so a hatchback would have been preferable. So I wanted to do a video on answering this question rather than just constantly typing answers in the comments section. So let me start by saying I don't dislike the Chevy Bolt at all. In fact, it's a very, very good car. I like it quite a bit. My wife and I went to the auto show. I think it was it the 16 model year auto show that they had a prototype of the Bolt there on stage, and I was allowed up on stage to take a look at it very closely. And the car that I had previous to this, that my son currently uses, is a Ford C-Max hybrid, and the Chevy Bolt is nearly identical in size, shape, functionality to that the C-Max hybrid, which, as a side note, C-Max is a great car. It's currently got 194,000 miles on it. Still runs great. Only ever had to repair a couple minor things on it, but anyway, so I drive anywhere from 120 to 180 miles a day. I've had several days that I've driven 220 miles in a day, but normally I think it's about 160 or 165 miles that I average in a day. And the Chevy Bolt would have served that need just fine in certain circumstances. So anyway, I considered both, and I liked the hatchback, shape of the Bolt. I like the features. I like the 360-degree camera. I like the fact that you can have the rear view mirror as a mirror or as a rear camera. Chevy really has done a good job of implementing technology in that car. There were a few things that were turnoffs, though, and I'll start with the minor ones and I'll work to the bigger ones, at least for my application. One was the seats. A lot of reviewers have mentioned that the seats are narrow and not all that comfortable, and I know comfort is relative. I'm not an overweight person, so I don't need a huge seat, but I do have a minor lower back issue. I sit in my car 5 hours a day on average, and comfort is important. So that was one thing. Another thing is just style. Now, for a vehicle that you're using for a business, style isn't all that important unless you're maybe a realtor or something and you have to keep up a certain image. You guys can tell that by the way I dress. I'm not a snappy dresser. I don't have a white collar job. It's a blue collar profession that I'm in. So, but still, the fact of the matter is I'm spending tens of thousands of dollars on something, and honestly, the Tesla looked better. Now, again, that's a minor thing, but it is a concern. Number 3 was potential resale value. Everyone knows that, or well, maybe not everyone, but many people know that electric vehicles absolutely plummet in value the minute you take it off the lot. They do not hold their value at all. And but Teslas do better than others anyway. So that was a consideration. I don't plan on getting rid of this car, but it's a consideration. So but some of the bigger reasons, number 1, I never planned on getting the short range version of the Model 3. My budget was high enough that I could afford more, but I don't buy more just because I can. I needed a 300-mile range, and the reason for that is that, number 1, it's hard on the battery to charge to 100% and discharge down below 20%. So it's not like you get in the car and you always, every day, can go 300 miles. That is not the case. It's kind of hard on the battery. So it's best to keep it under 90% state of charge. I try and keep it below 80%. In the cold weather, when range diminishes, like right now, I have it set to charge to 85%. But you want to stay below 90%, preferably below 80% if possible, and above 20%. So you really have a 60% portion of the battery right in the middle of the charge. So this the bottom 20% of the battery charge you want to protect, and the top 20% if possible. So you've got 60% in the middle of the charge to use. So that takes me down from 310 miles to, what would that be, maybe 170 or 175 or something during the summer. But then in the wintertime, your range goes down, and there's a lot of reasons for that. So I knew that in the coldest of days, I might have to charge it to 90% and discharge it down to 10% and use 80% of the charge. And the only way I was going to be able to do that is if the car has a rated range of 300 miles at least. And even though I don't suffer from range anxiety really at all, there have been a number of times I've pulled into my driveway and have had less than 30 miles left of rated range. So, you know, it was important. A 238-mile range that the Bolt has is plenty for almost everybody, but it wasn't for me, and that was the biggest deal breaker. So beyond that, even though the Bolt has certain features that the Model 3 doesn't, there are certain features that the Model 3 has that the Bolt doesn't and never will, or it's not like you can software update it to get there. And those things are, number one, over-the-air software updates. And before you guys attack me in the comment section, I know Chevy kind of has a rough system like that in place for the Bolt, but it's not the same thing. So I like the fact that the car can be updated over the air. A huge, huge one for me was Autopilot. Being that I'm in business, I'm on the phone a lot. Occasionally I have to glance down. No, you're not supposed to take your hands off the wheel and just do whatever you want to do and look all around and take your eyes off the road. I get it. But it is very nice knowing that the car has my back. If I need to glance away for some reason, or if I'm on the phone and I can't be 100% focused at staring out the windshield, it's nice to know that Autopilot has my back. So that was very critical, knowing that someday full autonomy will be available. That's something that appeals to me, and I don't think we're even close to that. I think we're going to be a couple of years away yet. But still, the fact of the matter is, when that becomes available, it's something that I want in on. So those are the main reasons. And I drive enough that an electric vehicle, you know, a number of people, in fact, one person recently on my channel called me a fool for spending over $50,000 on a car. He basically said anyone's a fool that spends $50,000 on a car. I don't care how much money you earn. Well, that's his opinion. The fact of the matter is, my business has a $900 per month budget. And sidebar, I'm going to be going through the business financials. I know I've been teasing you guys of that for quite some time, but that is one of the next few videos I'm going to do, is the exact finances on buying this car and why this car for me is free. In fact, it's way better than free. Way better. It earns me owning this car earns me a profit. But anyway, I have a $900 per month business budget for a vehicle, which means I can cover my vehicle payment, charging cost, insurance in that $900. So now, if I go out of warranty before the car's paid off, you know, then I could have some maintenance. But the basic budget works to buy this car. So, and the business pays for it. It's a great thing. So anyway, those are the primary reasons I didn't buy a Chevy Bolt. There's also a little bit of a negative connotation to the Bolt right now, that it's sort of a nerdmobile or whatever, and normally I don't really care about my image as much, but again, resale value, and it just, if all things are equal and you can have a stylish car or one that's just looked at as kind of plain, which would you choose? So it's a deciding factor. It's one of those things that I looked at. Anyway, thanks a lot for putting up with my rambling. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if anyone's looking to buy a new Tesla, feel free to use my referral code. There'll be a link in the description below. As always, thanks, guys. Look forward to posting another video. And yeah, fun stuff. I have a couple of winter use videos coming, and I think you guys are gonna get a kick out of some of the data that I've compiled on this car. So, anyway, take it easy now. Bye bye.